Welcome students. I hope you all are doing good. In this video, I am going to explain lesson number 7, part 1, Study of Continent Europe. So chapter 7 will consist of 8 parts and I will be discussing part 1 in this video. So let's get started. In part 1 of lesson 7, I will be discussing about the introduction of Europe and its location. Europe is a continent which is home to more than a quarter of the world's countries. The climate of Europe varies from Arctic conditions to temperate zone in the south. Every world religion is represented in Europe and hundreds of languages are spoken too. My dear students, so the first point is Europe is a continent which is smaller than all the continents except Australia. It is surrounded by peninsula, which means a land mass almost surrounded by water, of Eurasia. Eurasia is a single landmass comprising of Asia and Europe. But Europe is regarded as a separate continent because of its distinctionness in terms of physical features and its population. Third point, Europe is endowed with a great geographical diversity, abundant natural resources and a favorable climate. These all have helped this small continent to become both populous and prosperous among other continents. Now, dear students, in this slide, I am going to explain some facts and figures of the continent Europe. In front of you, there are certain major mountains. First, Sierra Nevada, Pyrenees, Alps, Apennines, Carpathians, Balkan Mountains, Caucasus. Sierra Nevada is a mountain range in the western United States between the Central Valley of California and the Great Basin. The vast majority of the range lies in the state of California, although the Carson Range spur lies primarily in Nevada. The Pyrenees mountain range separates the Iberian Peninsula from the rest of Europe, stretching more than 430 kilometers between Spain and France and rising higher than 3,400 meters in elevation. Alps are the highest and most extensive mountain range system that lies entirely in Europe and stretch approximately 1,200 kilometers across 8 alpine countries. The Apennine Mountains are a mountain range consisting of parallel smaller chains extending 1,200 kilometers along the length of peninsular Italy. Carpathian Mountains form a 1,500 kilometers long range in Central and Eastern Europe. The Balkan mountain range is a mountain range in the eastern part of the Balkan Peninsula. The Caucasus Mountains are a mountain system at the intersection of Europe and Asia, stretching between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. Dear students, let's talk about the highest peak of Europe. Mount Elbrus is the highest mountain in Europe. As the highest peak in the Caucasus Mountains, the Dolomite volcano rises 5,642 meters above the sea level and is the highest stratovolcano in Eurasia and the 10th most prominent peak in the world. This mountain stands in southern Russia at the western Caucasus in the Russian Republic of Kabardino-Balkaria. Here in front of you, you can see some of the major rivers of Europe. The Volga is the longest river in Europe. Danube, Rhine, Seine, Don, Vistula, Danube, Po, Rhone, Elbe, Oder. So my dear students, I am going to brief you a little about all the major rivers of Europe. So let's start with the Volga. The Volga is the longest river in Europe, flowing through central Russia to southern Russia and into the Caspian Sea. It has a length of 3,531 kilometers. It is also Europe's largest river in terms of discharge and drainage basin. It is widely regarded as the national river of Russia. Danube. Danube River is Europe's second longest river after the Volga. It is located in Central and Eastern Europe. The Danube was once a long-standing frontier of the Roman Empire and today flows through 10 countries. Third river, the Rhine. The Rhine is one of the major European rivers which has its sources in Switzerland and flows in a mostly northerly direction through Germany and the Netherlands, emptying into the North Sea. Fourth, Seine is a 775 kilometers long river. Its drainage basin is in the Paris basin covering most of northern France. The Don river is the fifth longest river in Europe, flowing from central Russia to the Sea of Azov in southern Russia. It is one of Russia's largest rivers and played an important role for traders from the Byzantine Empire. Vistula River. The Vistula, the longest and the largest river in Poland, is the longest river in Europe at 1,047 kilometers in length. Dnieper River. The Dnieper is one of the major rivers of Europe, rising in the Valdia Hills near Russia, before flowing through Belarus and Ukraine to the Black Sea. It is the longest river of Ukraine and Belarus and the fourth longest river in Europe. The Po River is the longest river in Italy. It is a river that flows eastward across northern Italy starting from the Cotentin Alps. The Rhone. The Rhone is one of the major rivers of Europe and has twice the average discharge of the Loire, rising in the Rhone Glacier in the Swiss Alps at the far eastern end of the Swiss canton of Valais, passing through Lake Geneva and running through southeastern France. Elbe is also one of the major rivers of the Central Europe. And the last one, Oder River. The Oder River is a river in Central Europe. It is Poland's second longest river in total length and third longest within its borders after the Vistula and Varta. The chief crops of Europe are wheat, barley, rye, oats, potato, maize, fruits, flax, and sugar beet. Wheat is the most produced food commodity in Europe, followed by sugar beet, barley, oats, potato. Europe produces over 100 million tons of different food commodities like wheat, barley, milk, oats, potato, fruits, sugar beet, etc. The European mining industry has a long tradition. Although Europe's mining earns for a small share of GDP, it provides a large and significant share of the worldwide production. Yes, my dear students, I am here talking about the minerals and fuels which are being produced in Europe. Such minerals and fuels are iron ore, coal, petroleum, natural gas, bauxite, copper, lead, zinc, nickel, etc. Coal. The total production of coal in Europe is about 15.14 million tons, translating to 3.9% of the total coal produced in the world. Coal is preferred as a source of energy due to its low cost compared to petroleum and natural gases. Here in front of your screen, there are certain chief cities of the continent Europe: London, Paris, Rome, Madrid, Moscow, Berlin, Munich, Frankfurt, Prague, Amsterdam, Oslo, Brussels, etc. So London is the most dynamic city in Europe. It ranks highest for infrastructure, innovation, interconnection and investment, and second for inclusion and inspiration. On the other hand, there are other chief cities of Europe which has an abundant supply of resources which are readily available for their people. Now, dear my students, let's talk about more of Europe. Over the past few centuries, Europe has influenced the world in a way that no other continent has. It started with European explorers, religious missionaries, and traders who carried their thoughts and beliefs to distant lands. As the nations of Europe grew in political, military, and mercantile might, they colonized vast areas of the other continents, where they spread their languages, political thoughts, and religious beliefs. Europe's scientific discoveries and technological inventions have also played a major role in shaping the modern world. Now let's talk about its location, where Europe is located. Mostly, Europe is surrounded by water on three sides. In the north is the Arctic Ocean, in the south the Mediterranean Sea and the Black Sea, and in the west the Atlantic Ocean. The coastline of Europe is highly indented, means it has been divided in such a manner that it is providing excellent natural harbours. There are a number of peninsulas and islands and various bays and seas which penetrate deep into the land. In fact, it would not be wrong to say that most of Europe lies only a few hundred kilometers away from the sea. This is perhaps why it has been a land of great sailors and explorers. Most of the Europe lies in the north temperate zone, while narrow belt in the north is within the Arctic Circle. The mainland of Europe stretches roughly from 36° north to 70° north latitude and from 10° west to 60° east longitude. To the east of Europe, separated by the Ural Mountains, the Caucasus Mountains and the Caspian Sea, lies Asia. If we go to the south, across the Mediterranean Sea, is Africa, which almost touches Europe at the Strait of Gibraltar. With that, I am concluding this video from chapter 7, part 1. So my dear students, you will be seeing more of the parts in the other videos. Part 2 of lesson 7 will consist of the European countries. Thank you and have a nice day.